Going to be teaching a live lesson right here on YouTube. I'll be teaching you a simple blues shuffle that requires only 2 fingers, and I'll show you a variation that only requires 3. So if you're a beginner, don't worry, you'll get this. And if you've been playing for a little while and you just want a new riff to learn, this is good for you too. So while we're waiting for everybody to wander in, I'm going to start off with one of my songs, and I am using that blues riff that I'm going to be teaching you. If you want to download the handout for this lesson, I think I was successful in putting the link underneath this broadcast, but if you don't find it there, look at my last live video and you'll see a link to my Google Drive where you can download the handout for this. And if you still don't see it, then it'll be under this video after we're done here. So if you miss any of this live lesson, don't worry, it'll be on video for a while on my channel. I've got some live lessons on my channel that have been there for a couple of years. It's kind of interesting to see how my hairdo changes. Anyway, I'm going to do this song for you so you can see this blues riff in action, and then I'll teach you the blues riff, and then I'll be taking your questions. I'll answer any question you have about playing the guitar, ukulele, or mandolin. So here we go. Another long distance call on my dime. This relationship's nothing but a long, hard climb. I'm calling from a payphone 'cause I don't have a cell. You say you're out of minutes, I'm out of time as well. Breaking up was free. We tried to be friends, but you left me alone. When I had that accident, you didn't even phone. At first I was surprised, then it hit me like a brick. Once again I'm left listening to that old clock tick. Out of days, out of time, the way we wasted love, especially mine. Out of lust, out of patience, out of sanity, your love cost me big. Breaking up was free. Gonna move to a minor key, but I won't stay there long. Gonna take some time for me, then send you this song. 'Cause we're out of minutes, out of hours, out of days, out of time. The way we wasted love, especially mine. Out of lust, out of patience, out of sanity, our love cost me big. But breaking up was free. Breaking up was free. Breaking up was... Can't hear you. You're breaking up. Breaking up was free. That's my original song called Out of Time, and that uses the blues progression, the blues riff that I'm going to teach you. And I just realized that my light is in the frame. I'm going to move it over because it's probably blinding you all. I don't know, is that better? I don't know, we'll see. I am broadcasting to my phone because, I'm so high tech. So that means that I've got little bitty writing way across the room and I can't see your comments right now. But partway through the lesson, I'll pick up my tablet, which is right over here with much bigger writing, and I'll be able to see your questions. So like I said earlier, I'm going to teach you that cool blues riff first, and then I'll take any question that you have about playing the guitar, mandolin, or ukulele. So let's get started. Okay. So the first thing that you want to do for this blues riff is to put your index finger on the 4th string, 2nd fret. And then you're going to strum only the 4th and 5th string. So it should sound like this. Okay? The next sequence, you're going to use your 3rd finger and you're going to bring it up to the 4th fret. And you're still only going to hit the 4th and 5th string. Now you're going to rock back and forth on the 1st and the 3rd finger. And you're going to do 2 little mini strums for each sequence. So on 2, then on 4. 2, and then 4. And again, because this is so high tech, I'm going to scoot a little closer so that you can get a better view of my hands. Yes, this is the high tech world of YouTube. So here's the first sequence. You'll see that my first finger is on the 4th string from the bottom, 2nd fret, and I am only strumming the 4th and 5th strings. Then I'm going to reach down with my 3rd finger to that 4th fret. Those are the 2 sequences. So here it is. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And play that with me. Go as slowly as you need to. The next sequence is also on the 2nd and the 4th fret, but you're going to be doing it on the 3rd and the 4th string. So it's going to sound like this. Okay? Then we're going to rock back and forth on the same frets, only this time we're going to do it on the 5th string from the bottom, and you'll also be strumming the 6th string. So it'll sound like this. Now, if you've already downloaded the handout, you'll see the tab is telling you how many measures to do. If you don't have the handout, don't worry about it. I tried to put the link underneath this broadcast, and I don't know if it worked, but after this live lesson is done, I'll put the link underneath this broadcast so that you can catch it later. So now I'm going to scoot back so that you don't have to just look at half of my face, which feels kind of weird to me. So I'm going to scoot back. There we go. All right. So here's the whole sequence. You're going to do 4 measures of the sequence starting on the 4th string. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And that's one measure. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And third measure. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And fourth measure. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And so now we're going to the next line. So that means we're going to be pressing down on the 3rd string and strumming the 3rd and 4th string. And we've got 2 measures of that. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And then it goes back to the 4th string again for 2 measures. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And then I'm going to the 5th string and I'm doing 1 measure of that. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And goes back to the 3rd string for 1 measure. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And then I go back to the 4th string to finish it off with 2 more measures. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now, if you're new to this kind of thing, it may seem like it's way too fast, but don't worry. I am recording all of this and I'll leave the live video up on my channel and you can view it anytime you want. You can rewind me a whole bunch of times. Sometimes it helps when you're viewing a video, as I've said in my other videos, is just to stop the video and then play it on your own as slowly as you need to. You know, you're not going to be Jimi Hendrix in one lesson. I'm not even Jimi Hendrix. So take it slow, practice, and always have a good attitude. So here is the whole sequence. Now this is a 12-bar blues, which is a very common form in the blues. And I'll show you another example in just a minute. I'm going to play the whole thing, This time I'm just going to tell you when I'm changing because I want you to be able to hear what I'm doing. Ready, and first measure. Second measure. Third measure. Fourth measure. Third string. 1, 2. Fourth string. 1, 2. Fifth string. 1 measure. Third string. And then 2 measures of the fourth string. So you'll see in the tab that for each of these sequences, there is a chord associated with that sequence, which makes it so you can use this riff as a substitute for chords. That's what I was doing in the song that I opened with. So instead of playing a straight chord, which would have been another long distance call on my dime, instead I was doing this. Another long distance call on my dime. Immediately ups the cool factor, doesn't it? Okay, so it doesn't just work on my song. It works on a whole bunch of blues songs, and I'll give you an example. You ain't nothing but a hound dog, crying all the time. You ain't nothing but a hound dog, crying all the time. Well, you ain't never caught a rabbit, and you ain't no friend of mine. So could you hear how what I was just playing with Hound Dog is the same thing that I just taught you? And I'll give you a link to Hound Dog after I post this as a video so that you can also download the chords for that. It's just A, D, and E. And again, it's a lot more cool to do this blues riff than it is to play the chords. So I think this is a good place for me to grab my tablet so that I can see your questions and your comments. And my tablet is really far away. Hang on a second. Okay. So like I said before, I can't see the tiny writing on my phone, so I'm depending on my tablet here. And somebody else's video is showing. That's weird. Huh. I'm not sure why my broadcast isn't showing. Hang on a second, I'm working on it. Technical things are not my forte. Okay, here we go. So there'll be a little bit of a delay for me to answer your questions because I'm using a different device. Okay, so Alan's here. Excellent. Alan wants to know, where is everyone, Jamie? I don't know. They're busy at church or something. Rich Bell is tuning in from Central New York. Hey, Rich, glad that you're here. And Alan is here from the UK. Awesome. F Stats is here from the Netherlands. That's great. I love that I have viewers from all over the world. It's so cool. Big Doc is here from Cocoa Beach, Florida. Sandra Brinker is here from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. I even know where that is. Upper Peninsula. It sounds like a separate state, but it's not. It's just way up there close to Canada, which is where I am broadcasting from. Merlene is here from Spain. Donna is here from the mountains of Western North Carolina. Such a beautiful area. Stu is here from London. He's at a music festival, so he can't stay. Well, that's all right, Stu. I'm just glad you tuned in to say hi. Hal is here from Parma, Ohio. John Chakoti, I'm sorry, I'm probably mispronouncing that. John is watching me from South Africa. Well, welcome, Jen. I'm glad you're here. You're the best guitar teacher I ever known. Shall you please do a lesson on bar chords someday? I have a few lessons on bar chords. So if you want to go to my homepage on YouTube, there's a search function. Just look for the little magnifying glass. And in that search function, just type in bar chords and you'll find a myriad of lessons on bar chords, including a live lesson that I taught, I don't know, a year or so ago, I think. And that's all my live chat. Oh, I think my live chat's going to stop here. Come on. Oh, technology. All right. And now it's giving me something else. Oh my gosh. I hate it when this happens. This is why I post videos, because I can post the video and then edit it and then upload it. I don't have to sit here live. It's giving me all kinds of nonsense here. Hang on a minute. Stay with me, everybody. Okay, I think I'm gonna have to log back in onto YouTube. I can see some of you talking to me there. Oh, there we go. Ken is here from Victoria, BC. Awesome, a fellow Canadian. TJ is here from Mississippi. And Ken Kibara says he appreciates me a lot, and he is here from Kenya. Awesome. Lana's here from Central Indiana. And all right, excellent. Bob is here from Nanaimo, BC. BC is such a beautiful place. So, well, I'm really glad that you're all tuned in. I hope that you caught the first part of my lesson there about playing the blues. And like I said earlier, I think I put the link to the tab underneath this broadcast. If it didn't work, then I will put it up there later, because the live feed for this will remain in video form on my channel. So you can look that up a little later if you want the tab. So you probably noticed when I was playing my original at the top of this lesson, I did a little variation. So instead of just playing this back and forth, I added my fourth finger. Okay, so let me scoot a little closer so that you can see my hands, which means it will cut off my face. So this high-tech broadcasting here. So what I'm doing is the beginning of that blues riff, and then I'm adding my fifth finger onto that fifth fret. So that's what I played in that song. Another long distance call on my dime. So that's all 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And let's see if I can move a little bit so you can see both hands. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So when I get up to that fifth fret, I'm kind of rocking back and forth. So this would work with Hound Dog too. You ain't nothing but a hound dog, crying all the time. You ain't nothing but a hound dog, crying all the time. Well, you ain't never caught a rabbit, and you ain't no friend of mine. And if you want, at the end of that sequence, you can do a little turnaround. And the turnaround starts from the second fret on the fourth string. So you pluck that first, and then lift up your finger, catch the open fourth string, and then play the first fret. So the turnaround sounds like this. And you play that at the end of the sequence. Nothing but hound dog. How's that song go? And then at the end of the phrase, so that's called a turnaround. And it's called a turnaround because they get you back to the original phrase. So I'm going to scoot back so that you're not just looking at the bottom half of my face. Maybe I should have used the chair with wheels. Anyway, so those are the variations that you can do with that blues riff. And then I showed you the basic blues riff at the beginning of this. And like I said earlier, this will all be on video, so you can view it later if you need to. I also have lessons on how to do this. And if you go to my YouTube channel main page, you'll see all my playlists listed. And there's a playlist called Learn to Play the Blues. And I teach you the basic riff, and then I also teach you the variation. And then I teach you some lead parts, you know, like this Chuck Berry lick. Well, I added a little more. It's a little more than the basic lick, but you get the idea. So if you want to check out a little more about how to play the blues, check out that playlist. And so I see that there's more comments coming in. I'm going to grab my tablet here and see what you all are saying. Okay, somebody, Daria says, I know chords well and I'm plucking strings as fingers move on the neck. What I'd like to know is how do I learn to play neck plucking individual strings, tabs, and where to learn riffs. So Daria, I think you're talking about finger picking. Finger picking is where you're plucking individual strings. So instead of using a pick and strumming, we're strumming with your fingers. So this is strumming. If you want to finger pick, I think you're talking about this. Those are also known as arpeggios. Really great for ballads and for slower songs. And I do have some lessons about finger picking. Again, if you go to the home page of my channel and you look for the little magnifying glass symbol, and next to it type finger picking, and you'll see a whole bunch of finger picking lessons. I think probably the easiest one to do, and one that I always recommend my students learn first, is, and I'll describe it, I'm playing a G chord here, and I'm playing the bass note on a G chord, which is the top string. And then I'm playing the third string from the bottom, the second string from the bottom, and then the bottom string. So it's bass, 3, 2, 1. Bass, 3, 2, 1. I'll scoot a little closer so that you can get a close-up. Oh, these high-tech things. Okay, so I'm just going to give you a close-up of my right hand. So my right hand is bass, 3, 2, 1. Bass, 3, 2, 1. If you practice it, you'll be able to speed it up. Okay, so do it as slowly as you need to, and it's not going to sound cool and fast the first time you do it, but if you practice it and start plugging it into your songs, you'll see some improvement. I'll give you a short example. All my bags are packed, I'm ready to go, I'm standing here outside your door. See how that works? It's a very cool thing. So let me go back to my tablet so that I can read your comments. Daria, into music, not just speed. You should just be into music. Anybody who thinks that they can just sit down with an instrument and immediately play, you know, fast riffs is sadly mistaken. And also, playing fast doesn't mean you're a great player. It could mean that you're a sloppy player. It could mean that you never learned how to play correctly. So I always recommend that you learn to play slowly first and then gradually speed it up. So Daria is saying not melodies, but when you play like lead. I'm not sure what you mean, because what I was just showing you was finger picking. All right, so I think that's what you were asking me. I'm not sure. So Anik is here from France. That's awesome. Good. I wish I knew some French. You know, I live in Canada. I should know French, and I don't. And I know that there's more comments coming in, but my tablet is a little slow today. So Now that I have finished teaching the blues riff portion of this live lesson, I will answer any question that you have about playing the guitar, the mandolin, and the ukulele. I teach all those instruments. And it's something that I really enjoy doing. I learned how to play the guitar first, and then I just jumped to all these other instruments. For some reason, my live chat isn't working. Okay. So I will take your questions, but like I said, there seems to be a little delay here. So if there's a technique that you're interested in, or you have a question about the maintenance of your instrument, or you're looking to buy an instrument and you want some advice, I'm always full of advice. So be sure to post your questions and comments, and I'll be able to help you. So what I taught earlier was this blues riff. So why don't I review that now, and hopefully my tablet will unstick so that I can see your comments. So it's 2, 4, 2, 4. That's the first measure. Second measure. Third measure. Fourth measure. Third string. Back to the fourth string for 2 measures. Up to the fifth string. And the third string. And back to the fourth string. I'm going to do that little turnaround. So again, the turnaround happens at the end of the phrase, at the end of the 12 measures, and what I'm playing there is an open fourth string, and then the first fret, and then the second fret. Okay? And again, you can use it as a substitute. So the riff that you're playing on the fourth string is a good substitute for an A chord. If you're playing it on the third string, it's a good substitute for a D chord. And then if you're playing it on the fifth string, it's a great substitute for the E chord. So here's how it would sound with Hound Dog. You ain't nothing but a hound dog, crying all the time. Can you play this with me? You ain't nothing but a hound dog, crying all the time. Well, you ain't ever caught a rabbit, and you ain't no friend of mine. All right, I did the little turnaround there. And I think maybe this is a good time for me to say the different ways that you can support me. You support me just by being here for the lesson, and I thank you for tuning in for that. Super Chat is great for those of you who are familiar with how to do that. I can take donations that way. Also, you could buy me a coffee at ko-fi.com. It's ko-fi.com/Jamie Anderson. And coffee is only $3, and it's a great way to support the lessons and the performances that I do. All right, so it looks like I've got a few more messages that became unlocked from my tablet. So Priscilla is saying, I think Daria means playing melody with jet playing instead of playing the chords. You play the song itself. I don't know what it's called, but it's picking the note to how you'd sing the song. Oh, okay. So you're probably talking about playing the melody within finger picking as you play the song. So it doesn't necessarily mean accompanying your voice or accompanying another instrument. I don't teach that, at least not yet on my lesson, because usually that involves writing out an arrangement from a copyrighted song. And the people who own those copyrights frown on that. because I guess I'm giving too much information about how to play the song. I'm not really sure. So you'll have to get that kind of lesson from someone else. I'm really sorry. That is something that I teach in private lessons, because I can use published music for private lessons, but I can't when I do it publicly like that. I'm very sorry. As it is, I already pay copyright owners for these songs that I teach quite a bit of money. So I don't want to get into trouble. So yeah, I'm sorry about that. Priscilla is here from Ghana. Hey, awesome. Welcome. Ken says, great to see your international influence. Yeah, you know, I get comments from all over the world. It's very cool. Now with the live lesson, it's a little harder with the time differences, especially in places like Asia and Australia. But for the live lessons, I hear from people all over the States, from Canada, from the UK. It's very cool. And Ken says, oh, wait, I missed somebody. S. Norbert, hello from Germany. I also use the stop pattern as a rock and roll accompaniment. Yes, that riff that I just taught is great for any rock tune. And like I said, you can substitute it for almost any chord. You don't have to do the whole sequence that I taught you. So if you're, you know, playing with a band or jamming with a buddy, and instead of just playing a straight A chord, play that riff on the second and fourth string, and it just adds, you know, just like I said, it ups the cool factor. Ken Kabara says, and kindly, if you may, we shall appreciate to learn how to tune the guitar. Tuning the guitar can be a challenge for beginners, because you don't you haven't developed your ear yet. So the best way to tune is with a tuner. I like a snark tuner. Here's mine. And it's a cool little machine that I clip it on the end of my guitar. I hit the on button, and then when I pluck a string, it'll tell me how close I am to the note that it should be. So this top string should be an E. So let me see if I can turn this, if you can see that. Okay, so when I hit the E, see how it's green? The next one is an A, and it should hit green. Okay, so you do that all the way down for the tuner. The names of the strings are E, A, D, G, B, E. So a good way to remember this is Edie and Diane got bad eggs. There's all kinds of ways to remember EADGBE. You can also just Google guitar tuner, and you will find all kinds of apps that will show you the top of a guitar, and you click on each string and it'll give you a tone, and then you match the tone. Now that can be challenging if you haven't developed an ear yet, but that's one more way to do it. Plus there's lots of apps out there that you can download. Some of them are free, some are very low price, and they will help you tune too. And they work along the lines of this tuner that I use here. And like I said, this is made by Snark, but there's other manufacturers. They don't sponsor me or anything. I just happen to really like the Snark tuners. They're inexpensive, they're accurate, and that one's been dropped a few times and it still works. How about that? So if any of you works for Snark and you'd like to sponsor me, I'd love to hear from you. All right. And Priscilla says, okay, that makes sense. Oh, because I was talking about the melody. Yeah. May, okay, I'm not going to try to pronounce the rest of your name, May, but yay, thank you. You're welcome. And here's somebody who's watching from the Philippines. Hey, welcome. Thanks for your lessons. It's always appreciated much. Please greet me as well. I'm Jose Basa. Well, hello. And greetings from Canada, where I am broadcasting from. I am in Ottawa. So this is the portion of the lesson where I answer any questions that you have about playing the guitar, the mandolin, or the ukulele. You can ask me questions about techniques. You can ask me questions about songs, but I'll be honest with you, I have a terrible memory, and that kind of stuff tends to fall out of my head. But I have lots and lots of lessons at my channel. So if you go to my homepage at my channel, look for the magnifying glass symbol, which is in the top right area, at least it is when I dial it up on my devices, and just type in whatever you want to know, or look at all the list of playlists that I have here and there. I have a playlist that is nothing but lessons, and you can click on whatever you want to learn. I also do take suggestions, so if there's something that you're interested in learning, you can put it in the comments below. And I can't promise that I'll teach it, but I like having suggestions because I want to teach songs that you're interested in, not just songs that I'm interested in. So, all right, so my allergies are driving me crazy. So if you haven't checked in already, please do that. As you can see, there's people from all over the world here, which is very cool. So I'll give you some general tips about learning the guitar and some of the things that people have asked me in the past. In the past, I've had people ask me how to change strings and how often strings should be changed. And that's a really good question. And I'll tell you right now that the strings on this guitar need to be changed. And the reason I know that is because they're starting to sound kind of dull and they're a little discolored. And as a guitar teacher, I know better. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. But you should change the strings. It depends on how often you play. If you're still playing the same strings that came on your guitar when you bought it, then you need to change the strings. If your strings are looking kind of discolored, if they sound a little dull, if they don't stay in tune, then you need to change the strings. And if you want to know how to change the strings, go to that search function on the home page of my YouTube channel and just type in change strings. And I've got a video on how to change strings, as well as one about how to tune and maybe some of the other questions that you have here. Playing the guitar requires practice, and I know everybody knows that, but I know it's frustrating, you know, especially when you're first learning. You know, you master a couple of things and it seems like you're just like on the same level the whole time. The thing is that you are improving. It's just incremental, and sometimes it's very slow, and you hear yourself play all the time. So the key is to remain consistent with your practice. Try this experiment. Tape yourself at the beginning of learning something, or maybe when you first pick up the guitar. Practice as often as you can. Maintain a good attitude. Those two things are really, really important. And then after maybe a month, look at that tape, and I'll bet you'll see progress. Even if it's small, and that's okay. You know, all progress is good. So I hate that saying practice makes perfect, because I think practice makes better. And I think that's really a better way to look at it. So let me see if we've got some more comments coming in. Boy, my chat is really slow today. So if you have questions, let me know. I'd be happy to answer them live. Questions that you have about maintenance, questions you have about playing, questions you have about my YouTube channel. How do you figure out what the strumming pattern is for a song? I think Priscilla's asking me that. Yeah. It depends on if the song is in 4/4 or 3/4 or some other time signature. And I know if you're just starting to play, that's really confusing because you're like, I don't know what time signature it's in. Well, most of the songs that you're going to want to learn, if you're learning rock, country, folk, blues, it's probably 4/4. So I'm going to give you a strum pattern that you can do in 4/4. Try that strum pattern, and if it's not working, try this other one that I'm going to show you, okay? So here's my favorite strum pattern. I'm on a G chord. Down, down, up, down, down, up. So try that one with me. I'm not going to change chords. Ready, and down, down, up, down, down, up. So that works for Where Have All the Flowers Gone? Where have all the flowers gone? Long time passing. Now, if I tried that strum pattern on a song and it wasn't working, then it may be a song in 3/4. And in that case, you want to try this strum. So for the G, it would be down, 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 up, down, 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 up. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and so let me think of a song in 3/4 time. How about Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound that saved a soul like me. Let's hit that last note. I have a lesson that dives more into depth about how you know what strum pattern to choose. One of the videos you can check out is 5 strums that will work for almost any song, and that will help you choose a strum pattern. I also have some other ones, so if you go to the homepage of my YouTube channel, you will see, and type in strum at the search function, and you'll see lots of videos that address strumming. So I see some other comments popping up here, so let me look at my tablet to see. How to hold a guitar pick, Merlene is asking about. So here's the pick that I'm using. So you can see that it's wider at the top, and then there's a point. And the way that I hold it is I've got my thumb across one side, and then I have my index finger across the other side at a slight angle. Some of my students like to put 2 fingers on the other side, and that's fine if you want to do that. So what you want to do, and I'm going to demonstrate on a G chord, is you want to brush it lightly across the strings all the way down, and then try it up. Now, as you can see, I'm slightly tilting my wrist. So you don't want your wrist to be rigid, you want it to be nice and steady. Don't dig the pick in too deep, just let it brush lightly over the strings. If it kind of spins around a little bit, then you need a tighter grip. You might want to experiment with different kinds of picks. The one that I'm using has a little bit of a pattern on the top. It's a Jim Dunlap. I'll just turn it. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's got some raised patterns, and that is a little easier to hold on to. Try different thicknesses of picks. Picks are pretty cheap. Just go to the music store and get a pile of them and see which ones are easiest for you to hold on to. So I know I've got some more questions here. Rich says, Jamie, how do you determine what key to play to your voice? Well, it's a matter of trial and error. First, I try the song in the original key, and usually somebody has put the tabs up for that somewhere, or you can find it on my channel, and I try that one. And if I can't quite reach some of the notes, if I'm really straining, if it sounds cruddy, then I experiment with the capo. And the capo is a really marvelous invention. So if I'm playing Amazing Grace, I'm like, you know what, that's not high enough. So we put the capo on, and I'm putting it on the 2nd fret, and I'm playing the same chord form. Amazing Grace. If I was really nuts, I could say, well, that's not high enough, and I could put it on the 4th fret. Amazing Grace. That's getting a little high for me. You can also sing an octave below, right? So instead of Amazing Grace, I could sing Amazing Grace. So it's a matter of experimenting with the capo. You can also transpose a song if it's not quite in the right key for your voice. I have a video about how to transpose. And again, if you go to the search function on my YouTube homepage and just type in transpose, then you'll find out how to do that. But briefly, I'll explain. If you want to transpose a song, if you've decided that it's not quite the right key for your voice, if you're really straining, if you're not reaching all the notes, then try transposing. So in this case, you just count on your fingers, okay? There's a way to do it with music theory and stuff, but you don't have to. So let's say it's in D, and and you want it to be in C. Okay, so what you do is you move down to C, and that means you're going to move all the chords down. So if the original song is D and G, then it's going to be C and F. Okay. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. What if I wanted to go up, right? What if it was D and G, but I want it to be higher? Then I would go to the next letter up, and that would be E. E and A. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. So really, it's just going by the alphabet. You just have to remember that musicians only go up to G. So it's A through G, and then you start again at A. There are some exceptions when you're moving from B to C and E to F, because there's a half step at those places, and I explained that in the video. And that's a little bit of music theory. I know I promised no music theory, but that shouldn't be too hard to remember. And really, if you use the counting on your fingers method of transposing, and there's that one chord that doesn't quite sound right, then just go up or down one. So if you're playing a D and it doesn't quite sound right, then try the C. You know, so again, it's a process of elimination for transposing. F stats. I would like to learn if tomorrow never comes. Can you do a tutorial about this song? There are a few bad tutorials about this song. I love your teaching. Well, thank you. I'm glad that you love my teaching. I'll add that to the list. I have quite a long list of songs that I want to teach, but I'm glad that you want to learn that one. MM is asking, if you have time, please make a video about your guitar journey, a short story maybe, because as a beginner, I love hearing those kinds of stories. It really motivates me. Well, thank you. I already have something like that. And so again, if you go to my homepage, to the search function, I'm not sure what I called it actually, so maybe that doesn't help you. I'll try to remember to put a link to that under this video after I post it. Because I do talk a little bit about my journey. I taught myself to play guitar when I was a teenager. I learned a whole bunch of songs in Girl Scouts, mostly simple folk songs, which is one of the reasons why I teach using simple folk songs sometimes, because that worked out well for me. And then after high school, I started playing out gigs in bars and clubs. I did my first tour in the late 80s, and then I started making albums. And I toured full-time, mostly in the States. And I did that for 13 years, and I'm still doing it part-time, although the pandemic has kind of squashed that. I've been teaching since 2000, and most of what I know I've taught myself, or I've grabbed one of my favorite players and said, how do you do that? And they very patiently show me. So there you go. So, my tablet is freaking out again. So Priscilla said, thank you very much. I'll check it out. You're welcome, Priscilla. Hal says, Jamie, I haven't heard anyone talk about good fingernail length. Too long, and I have to press very hard. Hal, I don't use my fingernails to play, but I do know a little bit about that style. If you are talking about your chording hand, which for us right-handed players is the left hand, you want your nails pretty short. You don't want them in the way. I've got a little bit of nail on mine, but that's as long as I'll go. And that's because if your nails are too long, it's going to cause and I'm exaggerating here, it's going to cause your fingers to go back, and you're going to end up with a chord that sounds like this. So you want to have your nails short enough that they don't get in the way, and you can have a nice arch in your fingers and use your fingertips to play. Now, if you're talking about your picking hand or strumming hand, depending on what you're doing, you want just a little bit of nail that sticks above the finger. And since I use the pads of my fingers, you can see I don't have much nail here. So that's as good as it gets when I'm playing with my nails. You can also experiment with finger picks. I have a tutorial where I talk about playing with your fingers or with picks. And again, if you go to the homepage of my YouTube channel. I know I've been saying that a lot, but that's really the best way to find out about all my various lessons. I've got over 300 lessons for guitar, mandolin, and ukulele. So that's the best way to find out. I do know, I do have friends who play fingerstyle and they play with their nails and they grow them pretty long. And they, some of them use reinforcements, you know, like nail polish. Some of them use fake nails. There's a lot of different ways to maintain your nails here. And I don't know why okay, my tablet's freaking out again. Okay, hang on a second. I'm trying to get to your comments. Okay, I don't know why the comments aren't coming up now. Hang on a second, folks. I think I have to reload something. Hang on with me here, trying to get to the comments again. Okay. I don't want to miss any of your questions. All right, here we go. Rich says, thanks, you're welcome. Here's Richard, who is tuned in from Nairobi in Kenya. Welcome, Richard. I'm so glad you're here. Rolando says, hi, Miss Jamie. Do you have any tutorial on John Denver songs? Well, it's funny you should ask because I just recorded a tutorial for Rocky Mountain High. Rocky Mountain High, Colorado. Rocky Mountain High. I think I mentioned earlier that my memory is terrible. Let's see, how does that start? He was born in the summer of his 27th year, coming home to a place he'd never been before. So that's the first part of Rocky Mountain High anyway. And if you want to keep checking at my channel, probably in the next couple of weeks, I'll be posting the lesson to Rocky Mountain High. I have posted a couple of lessons on how to play Leaving on a Jet Plane, which John Denver wrote. Peter, Paul, and Mary's version is the version that most people know, but he did write that song. So if you want to look for Leaving on a Jet Plane on my channel, you can learn that one too. I've gotten requests for other John Denver songs, and maybe I'll teach more because I was a big John Denver fan back in the day, so I certainly know a lot of his songs. Some great sing-alongs too. You know, everybody knows John Denver songs, which I think is very cool. Okay. So if you have any questions about playing the guitar, the ukulele, or the mandolin, we've got a few more minutes here, and I'd be happy to answer them while you're all here for my live lesson. If you missed any part of this live lesson and you want to catch it later, no worries. I will leave the tape up on my channel so that you can view it later. In the beginning of this lesson, I taught blues riff, and then I've been answering questions since then. So got lots of information in this video. If you want to support the work that I do, you can buy me a coffee at ko-fi.com, ko-fi.com/Jamie Anderson. You can also become a Patreon supporter, patreon.com/Jamie Anderson. And Patreon is a very cool subscription service where for a small fee, sometimes as low as $5 a month, you can get early access to videos before I post them to YouTube, exclusive live streams. I've given live stream lessons to my Patreon supporters 2 or 3 times now. And it's just like a regular group lesson, and I can see you all. It's much different than this kind of a lesson, much more direct, and you get a lot more information from those lessons. So that's another way that you can support me. And also just tuning in supports me. I do get paid for the commercials here. I don't have any control over the commercials or where they put them, so I apologize if they're kind of weird. Somebody told me that one of the commercials is for another guitar site. And I kind of wish YouTube wouldn't do that, but like I said, I can't control it, and I still get paid. So I'm really glad that you're here for this lesson, because that's another way to support me. And I love teaching. So, okay. So either my comments are jammed up, or my tablet has freaked out again. But so I don't have any more questions from you. If you want to check in and tell us where you're all from, that's really great. I always like hearing from my viewers. I've got lots of great videos coming up. I have a lesson on how to play Sundown, that great Gordon Lightfoot tune. I've got, what else? You know what? I've got my list of upcoming videos right here, and I'll tell you. I've got a video where I tell you about my favorite songwriters with some clips from some of their songs. My most recent lesson that I posted was how to play Kelly Clarkson's Breakaway, one of my favorite songs. I've got a lesson for Circle Game, that great Joni Mitchell tune. I've got a lesson on how to finger pick it, and one on how to strum it. I also have a video that I had a whole lot of fun making. Does buying another guitar make you a better guitar player? And the answer is no. But I made a whole video about it, even though there's only a one-word answer to that. And I've got lots of suggestions for videos. And so if you have a suggestion, you can put it in the comments below. But just know that I've just got so many songs I want to teach and so many techniques. It's really hard to get to everybody. So I'm seeing more comments come in, but my tablet is freaking out. Okay. So let me get back to YouTube. I will reload it. This is kind of a pain, isn't it? Sorry about that. Technical things are not my forte. So any Beatles songs coming up in the future? Jeff, I taught Let It Be in an earlier lesson, so you might want to look that up. I don't have any Beatles songs recorded yet, but I certainly get a lot of requests for them. So, and I love the Beatles, so that's a good suggestion. I'll post some more Beatles songs in the coming months. Sorry, I only post a few lessons a week, so it's hard to get to everything. And the Beatles have such an extensive catalog. Hal said, I was talking about my fret hand. If my nail is too long, I have to press really hard, so that's the string that hits the fret. If you're talking about your fretting hand, you need to cut your nails. They need to be short enough so that you can play with your fingertips, and the nail should not interfere. Rolando says, how about finger picking style like John Denver? Do you have that on your website as well? I do have a lesson on how to finger pick leaving on a jet plane. And I don't think it's the same finger picking pattern that John Denver uses, but I do teach the Travis pick, which is a picking pattern that he used a lot. So if you go to my YouTube homepage and you go to the search function and type in Travis picking, you'll learn how to do that. And someone, Yui, I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that right, from Germany, welcome. Jeff is here from Rhode Island, welcome. Moonwalk is here from Denmark. Awesome, Denmark. What is it, the middle of the night there? Did you have to set your alarm to tune in? I hope not. We're almost done here with the hour lesson. So be sure to check the video that I'm going to leave up on my channel so that you can rewind any of this live lesson that you want. I will post a link to all of the handouts that you'll need for the blues portion of it, and that includes the blues shuffle as well as the chords to Hound Dog. And Moonwalk says it's 19:58 p.m. I guess that's not too bad, right? I'm still getting used to military time. I'm originally from the States, and we don't do military time there because we like to do everything our own way. So Moonwalk says no problem. Awesome. So again, if you want to support the work that I do, you can buy me a coffee at ko-fi.com/Jamie Anderson. You can also support me at Patreon, and I'll put a link to all those things down below. It's also nice that you can tune in because I do have a monetized channel, so I do get paid from those pesky commercials that you all see. So I think that's it, right? I should probably stop talking. So thank you so much for tuning in. It means a lot to me, and I love teaching, and this is such a convenient way to teach. I can, I'm right here in my music studio. I don't have to go anywhere for it. I hope that you can all forgive the sometimes crummy audio. I'm doing this into my phone because, I'm high tech that way. But my videos that are on my channel are a little more hot quality because I use a real video camera for those, and I edit them and everything. So that was quite a thing for me to learn how to do that. So it looks like my hour is just about up, and I think I'm gonna go now. So be sure to look for the video of this so that you can review anything that I have taught here and that we've talked about. Thank you all for tuning in. It means a whole lot to me.